welcome in to be our guest. We had such a great segment with Sandra Nickel, the hat lady and our friend, and it really relates to, as she put it, moving on. And this is the time in our life when we need to think about, for one thing, downsizing. And we were talking about service, Jack.
Right.
That is one of the biggest things for seniors. You know, it's not just to buy a house, sell a house, sell a house, buy a house, but all of the surrounding factors.
All the components.
Yes.
There's a lot of components.
And Sandra, it was so interesting because you're bringing up all of the things that I had not thought about but would, and it would be too late then, I'd just be floundering around. So to have someone to guide you as we're thinking about downsizing, what are the top priorities in choices we should be looking at?
But before you say a word, we need to let people know we've used your name, we've said the hat lady, but it's Sandra Nickel Realty.
Actually, Sandra Nickel Hat Team Realtors.
Hat
Team Realtors. Okay, right. So I mean, we want to make sure we get the name of the company
Thank
there
you,
because
Jack.
they may be kind of floundering around here because if you do, and of course they know they can always call me or they call me all the time and say, how do I get a hold of that hat lady? I can get a hold of Sandra for you.
We'll find her.
Probably the first consideration, Virginia, that a would-be downsizer needs to undertake is what kind of housing is going to be ideal for them next, because there's a plethora of choices. The family or individual who's in that typical 4-bedroom, 2-bath house may find moving into an 800 square foot apartment a little bit difficult. For them, perhaps an interval move to a property like maybe a garden home, patio home would make sense. That's anywhere from 15 to 2,200 square foot regular detached house, but on a miniature lot.
Yes.
So there's not a whole lot of grass to cut. For someone who really wants to get out of the lawn care business altogether, there are communities that offer that kind of housing, but you'll also pay a monthly fee and the community takes care of the grounds so that you still have that single family home, but you can burn the lawnmower, leave it at the curb and wait for somebody to drive away with it. That's always a joyous thing. We can get rid of something that easily. Then there are wonderful seniors apartments communities in Montgomery. We are really blessed at the plethora of housing we have, and we have assisted living. One of my favorite places, and I'm going to give a free plug if you don't mind, John Knox Manor. You can go to John Knox and live in an independent living apartment, and then when you need some help, you can move down the hall, so to speak, to the assisted living, and if God forbid your health fails and you need skilled nursing care, you can move down the hall again. You don't have to leave your friends, you don't have to adjust to a new environment. And I'm hoping over time that we'll have even more of those. So there are lots of options. The choice has to be made by you, the downsizer, and your family members who may be counseling with you about it as to which is logical for you or which progression of things. It doesn't have to be done all at one time.
Yeah, and especially if you want to have the flexibility to travel and do a lot of things, you want to have as few things you've got to do around that house as possible.
In my industry and my office, we call that the lock it and leave it.
Okay,
I love it.
absolutely.
That's great.
That's
great.
Some kind of house where you can literally lock it up and go on a 2 or a 3 week trip and not worry about having issues.
That's right.
I think we're finding the older we get, you look at your health, you look at your ability to go, and we have so many friends who say, well, after we do this, then we'll, and then all of a sudden, the then will never comes because they physically can't. And I think that while you have your health and you're able to travel or you're able to go and do, that's the time. Don't wait until you can't do it.
I have a plaque on the bookshelf in my living room at home that says, there are only so many tomorrows. If you want to do something, do it today.
Yeah, you're right. Oh, nice one. I'll use that.
Yeah, that's great.
And Sandra, I think too, people need to realize the fact that depending on how their health is, that they probably need to be in an area where they're close to medical facilities.
Absolutely,
Yes.
absolutely.
Especially as we're aging.
I help a lot of particularly widows who live in the outlying communities, you know, on acreage.
Right.
As soon as they begin to have the medical issues, they want to come back into town. They want to get close to doctors. They want to get close to hospitals. Yeah, that's a really good point, Jack.
Right.
Well, it's nice to know that you have the options. And you had mentioned a booklet that you have that helps to guide people through when they're downsizing, whether it be to a patio home or an assisted living or whatever. So where can they come to actually see you, sit down and talk with you?
Well, my office is on East Fairview, right across the street from Sinclair's Restaurant and the Capri Theater. And my email is sandra@hatteam.com.
Okay.
Simple.
We try. It's got to be simple for me,
has to be
Jack.
simple.
That's your background, kid.
Indeed.
You were a master in advertising, so you moved it over, did you?
And I would love to have people email me, call me, drop in, and the booklet is free, no obligation. We just want to make this time of our lives the best that they can be.
And listen, if you're ever doing a seminar on this, please make sure that we're incorporated with you on it. We'd love to get the word out and then be able to
my
do
pleasure,
things.
because
Good.
I do. I
Great.
speak often at assisted livings.
Good. Great.
Pleasure to have you. Nice always to have somebody who provides the service, and she puts the magic in the move. That's what she does. And thank you for being with us, and we'll be right back.